Update, brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio's Update with Andy Wint.
Fastamai, good evening. It's 5:30. This is Update for Wednesday, 29th of November 2023 from Manx Radio. 30 minutes looking at the latest news on the Isle of Man. And background to that news, we've got sport and business and Sea Watch and travel updates. And the newsmakers in person this evening. Drinking water soon on the MV Manxman. Live import ban on cattle, sheep and goats. Problems at Barclays. New plans to regenerate Peel. And KWC could help with building the population of the island.
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
And here at the home of the halfway horse tram, 29 minutes before 6, the Update News headlines. Fastamai, Siobhan Fletcher.
Fastamai. It's understood some Isle of Man employees of Barclays will be affected by redundancies. The bank announced it's cutting 900 jobs in the UK and further afield in an attempt to bring down costs across some back office divisions. Manx Care says it's pleased that pay negotiations with the Royal College of Nursing have been successful. Yesterday, the union accepted the most recent pay offer made by the healthcare provider. Plans have been submitted to regenerate part of Peel Promenade and provide more facilities for the community. If approved, the current tennis courts could be moved elsewhere. Further afield, Israel's military says it's working to verify claims by Hamas that a 10-month-old hostage was killed in an airstrike on Gaza with his mum and brother. The group claims it happens before the truce agreement took effect. Nottingham City Council has declared itself effectively bankrupt, meaning it can't make new spending commitments. The Labour-run local authority says it won't be able to balance the budget this year, blaming cuts in government funding and rising demand for services. And Manchester United need to avoid defeat to realistically keep alive their hopes of making Champions League knockout stage. The match kicks off shortly despite torrential rain in Istanbul. They're your headlines. News at 6.
Secure tomorrow today with Man Benham's private client team. Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Goromaya, thank you, Siobhan. From the Ronaldsway Met Office, there is a strong wind warning in operation for tonight for the North Irish Sea. State of sea slight, occasionally moderate. And the weather this evening, dry, mostly clear and a fresh to strong east-northeasterly. Overnight minimum is 3 Celsius. For Jardine, dry, partially cloudy and a light to moderate northeasterly, then bright spells after Thursday lunchtime. Daylight maximum just 6 degrees, down to 3 through the night. And for Jehenya, dry with sunny spells on Friday, a light east-northeasterly, top temperature 6 degrees. Tide's on the way out, low water 6 minutes before 7, high tide 18 minutes before 1 a.m, low tide tomorrow morning, spot on 7 o'clock, and sunrise 12 minutes past 8.
Manx Glass and Glazing are able to offer an emergency out-of-hours boarding up service. Call 491918.
It's hoped drinking water will be available on the Manxman soon, subject to test results being returned from a UK lab. The steam packing company temporarily put all drinking water outlets out of action due to what was described as air in the freshwater supply. Managing Director Brian Thompson.
So we had discoloration in the freshwater system, and because we take passenger safety very seriously, we stopped using that water. So bottled water is available on board, but unfortunately the hot drinks machines that are plumbed in we can't use. We take the precaution and we have had testing done. We are just awaiting the results of that testing, and hopefully we'll get them back very soon and we'll get the fresh water up and running again, because we do think it was just discoloration. We don't think there was any contamination, but we have to check. We try to get these things fixed as soon as possible, but we just cannot take the risk until the lab tells us that that water's not contaminated.
Do you feel that all the issues that are being seen of late have been communicated effectively? For example, the drinking water one, if people knew that there was no opportunity to get hold of a hot drink, they might have brought a flask with them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and I think communication's something that we strive to get better at every single day, and I think it's one of those things as a company, you'll never have it perfect. but we have to get better at it. So, yeah, I think we would prefer to tell our customers everything they need to know up front, but unfortunately it's a dynamic situation. We would have hoped to have had that freshwater system cleared and ready for use by now, but it's taken a bit longer than we would have liked.
It's understood some Manx employees of Barclays Bank will be affected by widespread redundancies. The story from Lewis Foster.
The bank recently announced it's cutting 900 jobs across branches in the UK and evidently further afield in an attempt to bring down costs across some back office divisions. It's a move that's been criticised by some unions, what with it coming just weeks before Christmas. And it's been reported employees were told yesterday lunchtime. Well, here on the island, reports of redundancies come just a day after the Enterprise Minister confirmed the closure of the bank's Castletown branch would not result in any job losses.
In these discussions, it was confirmed that Barclays would be protecting all the affected jobs and remains committed to working with customers to help them navigate their banking requirements. Barclays have committed to maintaining a cash machine in Castletown, having worked with the commissioners to obtain planning permission so the ATM can be rehomed in the commissioners' offices, maintaining the provision of 24-hour cash access.
Well, Manx Radio contacted Barclays for comment regarding the number of Manx employees affected, if any, and a spokesperson said, as we said in October at Q3 results, we're taking a number of actions to simplify and reshape the business, improve service and deliver higher returns. This includes changes to our headcount as management layers are reduced and the group improves its technology and automation capabilities. We're committed to supporting impacted colleagues through these changes. Manx Radio has been told a breakdown of job losses per location would not be provided.
The decision to immediately ban the live importation of cattle, sheep and goats that are susceptible to a viral disease has been applauded by the Manx farming industry. DEFRA, the Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture, made the decision after an outbreak in the south of England. General Secretary of the Manx National Farmers Union, Sarah Comish.
We're quite fortunate at the moment in that there aren't really any imports due to come in, so it does give the department time to come up with a solution further down the line when we do need to start importing animals again. But it's very good that the department have been able to work with the industry on this, and that it's something that we do to prevent diseases such as blue tongue getting to the island. It's obviously a very debilitating disease. It can have some very damaging effects on livestock and on a farm business as well. And for welfare reasons, it's something that we definitely don't want to get on island. The status we've got on island at the moment, we are TB and BVD free, which is something we should be very proud of. And that's as a result of the department's animal health team and the industry working together. I think it's a great status to have. Not many places have that. It is one advantage of being on an island that we can respond this quickly to something like this. I think the whole industry would support this decision and be glad that the department has responded so quickly. Certainly it gives us all a little bit of time to work out what could be done next so that when imports are required, we have something in place to prevent the disease getting to the island.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates.
Fast am I. It's 22 minutes now before 6. The new principal at the Isle of Man's public school believes education should be a bigger selling point as part of efforts to attract more residents to the Isle of Man. Damien Henderson, a Cambridge graduate, former teacher at Eton, has been in the role since September. He says Manx politicians could be missing a trick.
I would like to politely suggest that education should be a little bit higher up on the posters and on the promotional materials to attract people to the island, because realistically I would imagine most of the people coming would have children, and I don't necessarily mean private education, paid for education. I want to improve the quality of education across the island, and that's including at the government-run schools, and I see them as partners rather than competitors.
A lot of people who've been to state school or people that are in a state school at the moment, especially in the UK, I think maybe it's exacerbated there. It's often them and us, especially members of like the Eton group, for example. From what you've just said there, it sounds like you want it to be more of a all of us together.
Sure. They are only children. They are only kids. Whether they're currently at an independent school or in the maintained sector, we all want the same thing as a species, is for the very best education for all of our children, whatever talents they have, whatever gifts they have, whatever personalities they have, wherever they're born in the British Isles or the world, because obviously we educate students students internationally. A trick that I missed coming here, University College Isle of Man has international borders just like we do. So there are far more points in common between independent and state education than there are differences, largely because we are all educating children at the end of the day, and their needs are very similar.
A rally driver from the Isle of Man has completed a 1,200-mile event to raise money for hospice. Ian Tunney described the Roger Albert Clark rally as nothing like he's ever done before. He'd aimed to raise £1,200. Currently, his fundraising total is at £2,200.
I was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago and survived. A lot of my friends or people that I know haven't. It was easier for me to try and raise some money for hospice. Hopefully never need it, but we know plenty of people who do. The RAC rally was a rally I've always wanted to do from being a young kid.
The rally itself is 1,200 miles long. That must be quite a challenge.
I'm pretty tired, to say the least. The boys in service worked through late into the night. We got as much sleep as we could. Nothing like I've ever done before. Manx rallies are fairly easy in comparison. Very hard work.
And you did have a donation target of £1,200, but you've surpassed that target quite substantially.
None of it's going into my pocket. Chris Sanderson, my co-driver, and I decided right from the start that we would fund the whole thing ourselves. It would be nice if we could get £2,400, and then that's doubled what our intentions were. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to stop there. Realistically, it's going to run for another couple of weeks. The more we get for hospice, the better. It will be used wisely.
And what are the plans for the future?
I've no future plans as we speak. 24 hours after doing an event like that. So where I will be next year with the car, I would like to sort of follow it up. I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight.
Sea Watch with the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company.
Motor vessel Manxman departed Heysham at 12 minutes past 2. She'll be into the bay very shortly, and then on to the Linkspan, departing this evening at 7:45, heading for Heysham, getting there about 11:30. The overnight departure for the motor vessel Manxman is at 1:45, arriving to Douglas at 5:30 tomorrow morning. And the morning departure, 8:45, Manxman heads to Heysham.
Follow the Steam Packet on Twitter for the latest sailing information.
The founder of an environmental charity on the Isle of Man doesn't believe the finding of over 50 syringes in a waste bin will impact volunteer numbers. It's after a Beach Buddies member had been put on an anti-HIV treatment as a precautionary measure after discovering exposed needles in a plastic bag. Founder of Beach Buddies, Bill Dale.
When you have to deal with HIV potential, then the drugs that you have to take are pretty serious, and there's some not very pleasant side effects. But she's okay. One thing I do want to stress, and I hope maybe you could ask this, is that this doesn't affect volunteers. This is our job. We are the ones who empty the bins, not the volunteers. So we've been running since 2006, and we do occasionally find syringes on the beach, but these are just one on their own. But to find more than 50 just stuck inside a Marks and Spencer shopping, plastic bag and stuffed inside a bin was just beyond belief. We took photographs of them. Obviously, there's a picture of the actual needles on our Facebook page. They are now in the possession of the police. But the amazing thing is that inside this plastic bag was the remains of a cardboard box with the address of a person in it. So we've handed that to the police now. So it's up to them what they do. I'm not sure what action you can take. I'm not sure if there is an offence. This sort of disposal of items like this, I don't know what the offence would be, but certainly I would hope that they would run a warning shot past this person and say, this is absolutely unacceptable.
Are you worried about the impact this could have on volunteer numbers now?
I don't think it will. And again, I must stress that this is our job. This is a job for 2 or 3 of us. Nobody else. This is done just by us. But this person who left these things in this bin needs to have a serious think about what on earth he was doing. It's absolutely, totally irresponsible and totally unacceptable.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
At 5:45 in company-rated developments, Halfords, the UK's largest retailer of motoring and cycling products and services, narrowed its guidance range for annual profit. The company pointed to a softening in demand for its big-ticket discretionary categories, now anticipates an underlying pre-tax profit for full year 24 ranging from 48 million to 53 million sterling, down from earlier guidance of up to 58 million. For a full daily market report, go to ramseycrookall.com. Saudi Arabia's public investment funds agreed to buy 10% of Heathrow Airport from the Spanish infrastructure giant Ferrovial. Another 15% in its parent company FGP Topco will be sold to France-based private equity fund Ardian. Ferrovial, which has owned a stake in Heathrow since 2006, announced the deal was worth 2.37 billion sterling. The transaction still subject to regulatory conditions, according to the firm, and if approved, the deal will end Ferrovial's investment in UK airports operator, which started at 56%, reduced to 25% by 2013. Other stakeholders in FGP Topco include Qatar Investment Authority, Caisse de Dépôt and Placement of Quebec, Singapore's GIC, Australian Retirement Trust, China Investment Corporation and Universities Superannuation Scheme. Heathrow has been losing money this year because of its significant debt, which is affected by rises in the cost of borrowing.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
UK markets displayed a mixed performance. European stocks, in contrast, recorded broad gains. The DAX in Germany sustained an increase, and US stocks experienced an uptick too. The numbers from Ramsey Crookall at the close in London: FTSE 100 down 0.4% at the close, 7,429. The DAX in Frankfurt up 1.1%, 16,173. A short time ago, New York City, the Dow Jones Industrial fractionally up 0.06%, 35,437. The Nasdaq Tech Stocks Index up 0.1% and just slightly more, 14,300. The S&P 500 in Chicago up again just over 0.1% at 4,561. In the exchange markets, the British pound sterling trading at $1 26.8 cents, €1 15.5 cents, 23 South African rand 66 cents. In commodities, gold fractionally down 0.02%, $2,040 per troy ounce, and a barrel of Brent crude up 0.5% at $81.80.
You've got an investment plan?
Yeah, Mike set it up.
But don't you need loads of money to do that?
Not this one. It's called Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, and you pay in monthly as little as £100. So it's like saving regularly, really helping us invest in the future. For a house, or the kids' education.
£100 a month? I could easily do that.
You should. The sooner you start, the better.
Invest in your future with as little as £100 a month. Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, the island's investment specialist for 75 years. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
Plans have been submitted to regenerate part of Peel Promenade and provide more facilities for the community. The detail from Tessa Hawley.
Peel Town Commissioners want to redevelop the Marine Parade site to provide a new cafe, Crown Green bowling clubhouse with 2 indoor lanes and public toilets. If approved, this would be built on the current tennis courts, which the local authority says are underused and could be better located elsewhere. In a planning statement, the commissioners say they found the most popular sports facilities are those which offer a range of disciplines. The multi-sport area, currently home to a basketball court and former skate and BMX park, could also be relocated to a more central and accessible part of the town. The skate park has been described as needing major refurbishment, with some equipment fenced off in 2022 to prevent its use and other jumps removed since. However, the authority adds if a tennis court is deemed appropriate for the Marine Parade site, one could be relocated into this multi-sport area instead. Public toilets would be accessible even when the cafe and other indoor facilities are not in use. The Marine Parade site lies within an area designated on the Peel local plan for tourism and is outside any conservation area. Peel commissioners add they're currently considering relocating the skate park to a less exposed location. The authority says it's also made representations to the area plan for the north and west to have undeveloped land adjacent to Ballacquain Road redesignated as public open space. It's also looking to expand the playground facilities at Westview and provide an area for leisure use on the Headlands Field. The application is pending consideration. You can find more details at manxradio.com.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio Sport.
Faster my Rob Pritchard.
Faster my, good evening. Starting with motorsport, and the 2022 and 2023 World and British Sidecar Champions will make their TT debut in 2024. Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, who will contest both Sidecar TT races next year, have taken 15 Grand Prix victories and 38 podiums in the last 3 seasons. The Anglo-French duo took the FIM Sidecar World Championship title for the first time last year and successfully defended their crown in this year's campaign, fending off competition from the likes of current Sidecar TT champions Ben and Tom Birchall. During the same period, they also claimed the British Championship title in 2022 and this year. In hockey, there were 3 more victories for the Isle of Man's junior national hockey sides during the most recent England Hockey Championship fixtures. 5 teams were in action on Sunday. Among those, the under-18 girls were commanding 6-0 winners over Garstang in the under-18 girls EH Tier 2 plate. Elsewhere, the under-16 boys emerged 4-1 victors over Preston in the under-16 boys EH Tier 2 knockout championships. Meanwhile, the under-14 boys swept aside Alderley Edge 6-1 in the under-14 boys EH Tier 2 plate. It was narrow defeat, however, for the Isle of Man in the under-14 girls Tier 2 plate, as they were beaten 4-3 on penalty strokes after a 1-1 draw in regular time against Timperley. The Isle of Man under-16 girls were also on the end of a loss in the under-16 girls EH Tier 2 knockout championships with a 4-2 defeat at the hands of Preston. And in football, 2 of the top sides will face off in the Isle of Man under-18s League at the Bowl as part of the latest fixtures in the division this evening. Top of the table Bradden are due to face third place Ramsey at 6:15. From the matches they've both played so far, each has won all 4. Meanwhile, in the other games, second place Corinthians could go top with a win tonight if Bradden suffer defeat. Corinthians are scheduled to take on Jims at 8 p.m, with the visitors looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Inbound at Ronalds Way. Next, it's the 7:30 EasyJet from London Gatwick, 10 to 8 Loganair from London City, and the 5 to 8 returning patient transfer Loganair from Liverpool, all showing on time. Outbound tonight, the 6 o'clock Loganair to Liverpool is on time, and then it'll be the 8 o'clock EasyJet back to London Gatwick. And on the roads, temporary lights on the main road in Colby at the junction with Ballakill Ferrick Road. They're doing water main work. In Crosby, temporary lights on the main road near Ballavitchell Road for excavation work. That's running on until the 11th of December. In Glenmay, Aracy Road's closed from Glenmay to the Shoulder Road for resurfacing. Solby's got the Clanner Road closed for resurfacing. In Douglas, Hillside Avenue is closed through to Circular Road for adjacent office window replacement. And the section of Switzerland Road is closed for construction work to November next year. In Braddon, temporary lights on Braddon Road between the hospital and the Strang Road for work on the pavements. Look out also in Braddon for temporary lights on Cool Road at the Isle of Man Business Park roundabout for drainage work. In Port Erin, temporary 24-hour lights on Station Road at the Ballafesson Road junction for gas main work. And Cian Drochard Road in Antris is closed in phases for water main work until May next year.
Quayside Tyres and Service Centre. Spread your payments interest-free. Get more with
Quayside. Faster My, thanks for dropping by tonight for Update. I'm Andy Wint. If you want more details, by the way, on Ian Tunney's fundraising in the Roger Albert Clark rally, just go to manxradio.com, click on the Rally Driver Completes 1200-mile challenge story, and there's a link through to his fundraising total. The Education Minister insists plans to rebuild Castle Rushen High School have advanced further than ever before. A timeline published this week as estimated work could be finished by March 2029. March 2029. Julie Edge MHK says she isn't guilty of a lack of progress.
Certainly not. 2029 came up in the debate last year, and I've said that's provisional dates until you actually get a design team and you get a design. Nobody can really estimate that, so it was an estimated date.
So the design team have been got together. How long will that take?
It's all getting dealt with by the project management unit in the Department of Infrastructure. It's down to them to do that part of this project. However, this has been going on a long time, long before I've been in the House of Keys, and certainly it's a project that's now progressed further than it ever has. We've got funding in place, and there's been at least 2 ministers that I'm aware of, Minister Cregeen, Minister Allinson, were in the department before myself. We've now got the funding secured to move forward.
In the meantime, the older building is deteriorating.
No, certainly not. We will always maintain the building to ensure that our students are safe in that school environment, and if we need to invest any money in the meantime, we will have to do that.
That's it for Update Tonight, compiled from the resources of Manx Radio's news department. Thanks to newsreader Siobhan Fletcher, producer Amy Griffiths. There's no spotlight tonight on Manx Radio. Chris Pearson will be here with an elongated, stretched out greatest hits from 6 o'clock. The Opera Hour with Ernie Thorne at 9, Rhiann Evans with After Hours tonight at 10 o'clock. An Update returns tomorrow at 5:30. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
WINT